Abraham Lincoln from Log Cabin to the White House, written by B.C. Silverberg. Abraham Lincoln. Focus question: why is Abraham Lincoln considered one of the most important American presidents? Was to know: abolitionist, civil rights, eloquent emancipator, equality, homespun, humanly momentous orator, said, solemn, sovereignty. Table of contents. Introduction. The early years, law and politics. America divided. The world years. Glossary. Introduction. Abraham Lincoln is one of the most important presidents in American history. He led the United States during the Civil War, 1861 to 1865, when the northern and southern states fought to decide the country's future. He is known as the Great Emancipator because his action-free enslaved people across the South. After the war, the United States became one nation again, and he remained so ever since. We think of Abraham Lincoln as a great American folk hero and tell many stories and legends about him. He is often pictured as tall, lanky, and solemn. He is remembered as a common man with little regular schooling, who was born in a log cabin in Kentucky. That he became a great lawyer, speaker, and political leader. His eloquent speech about freedom, justice, and uniting all Americans are carved in stone at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. His belief was simple: as I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. This cabin is constructed of logs that are believed to be from Lincoln's birth cabin. The cabin is located at the Abraham Lincoln Birthplace National Historic Site in Hodgenville, Kentucky. The early years. Abraham Lincoln was born to Thomas and Nancy Hans Lincoln on February 12, 1809, on a small log cabin farm near Hodgenville, Kentucky. After moving to nearby Knob Creek, Abe and his older sister Sarah went to school for a short period during the winters. His mother Nancy encouraged their education, but his father Tom wanted Apple to help with chores. When Apple was 7, the family moved to Indiana, hoping for a better life. 2 years after Tom built a new log cabin, Nancy died from milk sickness. Poisoning by milk or meat from cows that have eaten a certain plant. Apple and Sarah mourned the death of their hard-working, loving mother. Soon after, Aben's father married Sarah Bush Johnston, a widow and mother of 3 whom Tom had known in Kentucky. With love and care, she created a warm life for Abe and Sarah. She encouraged Abe as he grew into a tall, awkward youth. He spent much time in the woods using his axe to fell trees and split logs for fence, wagon, and farm equipment. Friends spoke for his moody quietness, even though Abe told Omi numerous stories. Abel went to school for only a few weeks in the winters, walking 18 miles, 29 kilometers daily. Mostly he educated himself by borrowing books and newspapers from neighbors and travelers. These were frontier days when people moved westward, following Daniel Boone, John Apples, and other pioneers. Their stories and the books he read sparked ideas of a world larger than Abel's backwoods. As a teenager, Abel, now standing 6 feet um, 4 inches, traveled down the Mississippi River on a flatboat loaded with produce. He floated, steering with a bowler, to the busy port of New Orleans, where he saw the city's wonders and diversity. For the first time, Abel also saw black men, women, and children caked in holding pens and chained in an ocean blocks. To be bought and sold by white on slave river of misery. Abel's feelings about ending slavery arose over his lifetime, but he always hated the institution. In 1841, he took a steamboat trip on the Ohio River, a river which served as the border between several free and slave states. On board were a dozen slave people, ponded together with suckers. Lincoln called the slide a continual torment. It was a sight he saw each time he came in contact with that river or any other border between enslaved black people and free ones. After Abel's return, his father again moved the family westward to central Illinois near the town of Decatur. Abel helped his father build a new log cabin and soon after left the homestead at age 22. In the frontier village of New Salem, Abel worked various jobs, including storekeeper, surveyor, or carpenter. He became well known as a wrestler and as a skilled orator in the New Salem Debating Society. He ran for the Illinois State Legislature, losing in 1832, but succeeding 2 years later. A lawyer and fellow legislator, John Tooth Stewart, encouraged Abel to study law. Abel read law books, passed the exam in March 1837, and John started law practice, moving to Springfield, where the Illinois legislature met. Law and politics. Abraham Lincoln's views was based on his strong belief in democratic rights for the common man, that each person was important regardless of wealth or privilege. He became a respected member of the Whig Party, supporting strong central government in Washington, D.C. The other leading party, the Democrats, believed in the states' rights, or that states should control their own affairs without interference from Washington. At the age of 30, Lincoln met his future wife, Mary Ann Todd. She was the fashionable daughter of a wealthy Kentucky banker. Her background was very different from Lincoln's, yet they fell in love. After overcoming Mary's parents' objection, they married on 4th November 1842. to in 1843, their first son Robert was born. In 1846, Lincoln won the election for the Illinois representative to the U.S. Congress and moved to the Washington, D.C. with his family. Lincoln was in Congress at the northern and southern states became more divided over the issue of slavery. The North depended on paid laborers in its factories and small farms and believed in a strong central government. Slavery was outlawed in the northern states, the South, whose economy revolted around King Cotton, grown on large plantations used labor of enslaved people. Most lived under very poor conditions and were treated inhumanly. They had no personal or civil rights. The law of southern states allowed and protected slavery. The United States expanded as Western territories applied for statehood. Would these states enter as free or slave states? The South wanted new lands to grow cotton using the labor of enslaved people. The North wanted the country to promote independent farms and paid labor. The building in Atlanta, Georgia, was used to sell enslaved people. Lincoln opposed slavery, but as an Illinois representative in Washington, he believed that the practice was protected by the state laws in the South. However, he fought the spread of slavery in the Western territories. During the 1840s, the abolitionist movement, which wanted to outlaw slavery, grew. Its followers, both white and free black people, demanded an end to the horrors and inhumanity of holding women in bondage. Lincoln returned to Springfield after 2 years in Washington and for the next few years set a successful law practice with his partner, William Hendon. Lincoln became known for his honesty, legal abilities, wit, and fine oratory. In February 1850, Lincoln and Mary faced tragedy when their boy, Eddie, nearly 4 years old, died of the tuberculosis. Both parents were deeply depressed and Mary saw signs of emotional imbalance. In December of that year, a son named William was born, and mm, was born, and 3 years later came another son, Thomas, or Tad for short. Lincoln was very close to his sons and was a proud and loving father. America divided. Meanwhile, in the 1850s, the pro and anti-slavery folks struggled for power. Congress passed the Kansas and Nebraska Act in 1855. This canceled an earlier law that forbade slavery in this territory. The new law allowed the residents to decide whether they wanted to be free or slave states. This principle of letting the people decide, called popular sovereignty, was introduced by an old political rival of Lincoln's, Stephen Douglas, now a U.S. Senator from Illinois. Lincoln decided it was time to speak out against the spread of slavery and to try again for the political office. He joined the new Republican Party, which opposed slavery, and was nominated in 1858 as their candidate for senator. His opponent was his old enemy, Senator Douglas. During the campaign, they held the Lincoln-Douglas debates, which captured the attention of the country. Lincoln, with the great oratorical skill, exclaimed that slavery was causing a national crisis. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure permanently half the slave and half free. Lincoln argued that black people were to the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Just like white people, Dola said that the Constitution guarantee equality only to white people. Instead, he believed that they had the right to decide whether it would be slave for free. Lincoln lost the election, but the debate made him popular, particularly in the Republican Party. By 1860, he was the party choice for president. In his campaign rallies and parades, he was called Honest Ape, the Omes Mundial Spelter, a man of the people who stood for equality and freedom. On November 6, 1860, Lincoln was elected President of the United States. The North and the Western territories disaster. The South was attacked even before Lincoln's inauguration on March 4th, 1861. 7,000 states voted to secede from the United States of America. By February, the pro-slavery states had established a government, the Confederate States of America, under President Jefferson Davis, and prepared for war. The war years. President Lincoln, still hoping to avoid bloodshed, said in his inauguration speech, "In your hands, my dissatisfied countrymen, and not in mine." In the momentous issue of civil war, but events moved swiftly, and by April 14 April, Northern troops had surrendered Fort Sumter after South Carolina cannons fired on the fort. Both sides, the Union and the Confederacy, quickly mobilized, calling volunteers and collecting arms and supplies. President Lincoln, from his home and office in the United city of Washington, D.C., could look across the river to the Confederate States of Virginia. The South Superior military leadership defeated Union forces in the first battle at Bull Run. Lincoln started to find strong commanders to lead the Union troops throughout the war. Under General George Clark, Union armies had some success, but by 1862, they were stopped by Confederate General Robert E. Lee. Although the Union forces controlled New Orleans and the Mississippi River, there were few victorious. Lincoln took over more of the military planning as the North quarter for action. Enormous numbers of young soldiers on both sides were killed, wounded, or missing as the war continued into its second year. For Mary and Abraham Lincoln, personal loss threw them into deep despair. Their son William died of fever in February 1862. Mary would never fully recover from her grief. Abraham said his great sadness when he met with many families mourning were that the Union lost the second battle of Bull Run, and at the time both sides suffered the bloodiest engagement of the war. Powerful Republican senators President Lincoln to make the abolition of slavery a world war. They argued that to fight the war successfully, the Union needed to remove the issue that caused the war. Lincoln was finally convinced that as president, he had the authority to order abolition in the South. On the 1st January 1863, the Emancipation Proclamation went into effect, freezing the fort and forever on enslaved people in the Confederacy. Freedom of zone. The free black men registered to enlist in the Union Army after Fort Washington, but were initially turned away, although they had served in previous wars. Federal law leading from 1792, apart then from building arms for the U.S. Army by mid 1862. However, the pressing need for more Union Army volunteers pushed the government into lifting the ban. By the end of the Civil War, nearly 200,000 black men had served as soldiers in the U.S. military. The summer 1863 brought victory to Union forces at the Gettysburg, a turning point in the war. President Lincoln, while um, dedicating a ceremony to the many soldiers who later died, delivered his famous Gettysburg Address. The speech lasts only 2 minutes, yet it is remembered for its simple beauty and eloquence. Lincoln spoke of the war as a test of whether the nation could survive as a democracy. He challenged those still alive to complete the unfinished work of those who had died. That the government of the people, by the people, for the people, and shall not perish from the earth. Under the newly appointed General of Last reign, the Union armies were victorious in the West and the South. Lincoln saw hope of the war, and as Confederate troops were defeated in Georgia and Virginia in late 1864, he was elected president, and in early 1865, till the Congressional passage of the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which prohibit slavery in the United States. The war ended on the 9th April 1865, 4 years after it began, and cost 600,000 lives. The Union was preserved and slavery was abolished, but only 6 days later, President Abraham Lincoln lay dead from an assassin police. A Confederate sympathizer, John Wilkes Booth, shot Lincoln while he attended a play at Ford Theater in Washington, D.C. as the Lincoln body was carried back to his beloved Illinois on a funeral train. Journeyed by the roadside celebrated this great American hero. 1809, Abraham Lincoln, born on 12 February in Kentucky. 1818, Mother Nancy died. 1819, Father Thomas Mary Sarah Wollstonecraft. 1834, Lincoln elected to Illinois State Legislature, and 1837, open laws practiced in Springfield, Illinois. 1842, Lincoln marries Mary Todd. 1846, Lincoln elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. 1850, Sung Edward dies at age 4. 1858, Lincoln Douglas debates. Lincoln becomes a leader on anti-slavery issues. 1860, Lincoln elected president. 1861, Civil War begins when Confederates fight on Fort Sumter. 1862, Son William dies at age 12, Battle of Antietam. 1863, Lincoln issued Emancipation Proclamation, Union victory at Gettysburg. 1865, Confederate forces surrender, ending the Civil War. Lincoln shot on the evening of April 14 and dies the following day. C'est fini. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir. Bonne soirée.